What you believe about God matters. How you see God is directly linked to how you are living your life today. Let me show you how this works. So some time ago, I was in the process of finding a new job, and I remember one night just lying awake a little bit and feeling some anxiety. And I was, from this anxiety, I started to make some interpretations and some conclusions about what I thought that God was trying to tell me something. And basically, so what I concluded was that I thought that God wanted me to not go full-time with this new job, but actually part-time. And so that's what I did. But now today, I can look back at that example and I can reevaluate what I think happened there. And I think today I can share with you honestly that I think I misinterpreted some of the signals there. And this is why the reason I'm sharing this with you is to explain and look at how this works, how our current perception about God and what we believe about Him, it matters because we are living according to that current image or perception or belief that you have in your heart today. You are living according to that perception today. And so for my example, I can look at it now and my perception was that I thought that God was that He had me on this tightrope, almost like that the straight and narrow the straight and narrow that I was in the kingdom, but I thought that I was on a straight and narrow path, and that if I set one foot wrong, that God was going to be angry and upset, and that He was going to bring punishment. That is what the perception was in my heart a few years ago, and so I interpreted my almost like the way that I was interpreting these signals, and I was even experiencing anxiety. And so it's like I was taking all this information and making an interpretation that today I can see was wrong. I think I misinterpreted that experience, but I know that back then I had this idea or perception of God about this tightrope, and that if I set a foot wrong, there's punishment coming. And so the reason I'm sharing this example with you is because that's one example, and we all probably have those examples if we're going to be honest and share honestly. But so it makes me wonder, and recognizing we all are living according to our current perception and belief about God and His goodness. Whatever that is for us, me and you today, we are actually living according to that today, currently. So it becomes really important and exciting to want to desire a upgrade and a refreshment and a revelation from the Holy Spirit to just enlarge our perception of God and His goodness, right? Because once that happens really in our hearts, that's going to reflect in our behavior, in our actions, in our lives. Do you remember the parable of the talents with the 3 servants and each one of them doing their thing? So we got the first 2 servants that did well, they multiplied their talents and everything was fine. But I want to focus in on the 3rd servant today, because the 3rd servant came back and he mentioned 2 things which gives us an insight on what his perception was, what his belief was about the landowner, which in this parable is God. So he mentions 2 things. The first thing he mentions is, he says, "I knew you to be a hard man." Okay, so he thought the landowner was a hard man. And secondly, he says, "So I was afraid." So I was afraid. Okay, so based on those 2 insights that we have of the 3rd servant, he thought God was a hard man and that he was So therefore he was afraid. And therefore, because of those two beliefs, you can see his actions, his behavior. He hid the talent, and the link that I want you to see is because of the belief in those two specific beliefs in his heart. That's how it played out. That's how it played out in his behavior, his actions, his life. The reason I want to share this with you is to encourage you and to spur us on, and to at least, if once we know that there's this link, then it becomes very exciting to ask the Holy Spirit, please give me a fresh revelation of who you are, your goodness. Enlarge that. For example, the Bible talks about perfect love drives away all fear. So we know God is love and perfect love, but so we also know that we need to be transformed by the renewing of our mind. And so that'll be a great question for you to ask the Holy Spirit, is show me a fresh revelation of who you are, how good you are, and give me that fresh revelation. Is gonna, once that sinks into your heart, that's going to be a renewal of your mind. It's going to sink into your heart, and then from there you will see your life will actually start to look different. Hey guys, check out the link in the description if you're interested in joining the membership.